Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find distance. So I'm going to do an example for each one of these before we go to our standard form and talking about that. So let's say that we have 2 plus 3i and 4 minus, let's say, 6i. So if I were to say to you, let's find the distance between these two polar coordinates or complex numbers, you think about, we know that 2 plus 3i, what's that coordinate? You can kind of think of that as being coordinate 2, 3, and then you can think of 4, negative 6i as being 4, negative 6. And really, if we're finding the distance, it's not any different than what we've already done with the distance formula. We know the distance formula is just simply, it's x2 minus x1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared. So if we go through that process, we could do 4 minus 2 squared plus negative 6 minus 3 squared. 4 minus 2 squared is going to be 2. 2 squared is 4. Negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. Negative 9 squared is 81. So we'd say that's the square root of 85. And again, if we're going to put that in, let's just go ahead and we could put it in decimal form. Let's round it, take it out 2 decimal places. Everybody agree 9.22? Okay. We're also going to find the midpoint. So let's just go ahead for this example and go ahead and use the same 2 points. So 2 plus 3i and 4 minus 6i. So again, probably a good idea to go ahead and list it as a set of coordinates to solve this. We know the midpoint formula, x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So in this problem, I'm going to do 2 plus 4 over 2, 3 plus a negative 6 over 2. So our midpoint would simply be 6 over 2 or 3. And looks like what? Negative 3 over 2 or negative 1.5. Okay, now we're going to talk about just simply going in between complex form and trig form. So we say standard complex form is just z equals a plus bi. So the a plus bi, which we've kind of already talked about. We say that standard trig form is z equals r parentheses cosine theta plus I sine theta. And we know that r is going to be the radius, and then theta is going to be the given angle. So let's look at an example here. So if we have 1, we'll just do 1 plus 1i. So we're going to start in standard complex form. We're going to put it into trig form. And again, remember trig form, we're going basically to r cosine theta plus I sine theta. So here's kind of the process. Step 1, we are going to graph it. So we make a little sketch over here to the side. Over 1, up 1. We're going to make a little triangle. So in my triangle here, this is going to be 1, and this is 1. So using the triangle, we're going to find r, which finding r is just simply using the triangle and doing the Pythagorean theorem. So what's our r value going to be in this one? Yeah. So again, we know that r squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. And we know that r squared in this case is 1 squared plus 1 squared. So r ends up being radical 2. That's this in our triangle. Okay, step 3, we're going to find theta. So we know that, again, theta is this angle right here that we're trying to find in the triangle. So we know that tangent theta is equal to b over a. Now when you're thinking about, b is your value in front of your eye, a is your x coordinate. So we know in this case tangent theta is equal to 1 over 1. And again, when we solve that, again, you can utilize your calculator. If it is a, theta here is going to be simply 45 degrees. You can do your inverse tangent. You can also think about your unit circle if you want to. But we fill this in, going back up here to our standard trig form, we're going to say that it's going to be radical 2, parentheses, cosine of 45 degrees. Yep, sorry. Plus I sine of 45 degrees. And that's going to be our standard trig form there. question with that one? Okay, let's try another one of those. So we've got -2 plus 3i. And again, we're going to put it into standard trig form. So r cosine theta plus I sine theta. Better go through the first part of this with you just on, because on this one we're graphing. It's not in the first quadrant. So we plot the point -2, 3. So we know that this is going to be 3. This is going to be -2. Go ahead and find your R value. What we're going to do, R squared equals 3 squared plus -2 squared. So hopefully you're getting your R value to be radical 13. Now notice our angle here on this one in our triangle, because we're in the second quadrant, whatever angle we get, we're actually taking that value and we're going to subtract it from 180. So this is the angle that we're focusing on here. So when I do this for my angle, I'm going to do tangent theta is equal to 3/2. And in this case, let's go ahead and take it out to the nearest minute. (56 degrees, 19 minutes). Probably be good for you to think about when I'm saying theta. Theta is this angle here going from 0 to that. So sometimes we call this alpha, the angle in the triangle, and then this would be your theta, because theta is what we're trying to find. So probably better to call that. And again, we take the 180 minus the 56 degrees, 19 minutes to find our theta. And that's going to give you 123 degrees, 41 minutes. So we fill in our trig form. We've got radical 13, parentheses, cosine 123 degrees, 41 minutes, plus I sine 123 degrees, 41 minutes.